2001 is a long way back, and many people are not aware. Some people don't remember, and some people choose to forget. But I think that all of Tobagoans must accept that the PNM transformed this island. And the facts are there. And I think that we as the PNM have a responsibility to make Tobagoans aware of those facts. For example, when we came in, the unemployment rate in Tobago was 12.5%. By 2019, that was somewhere between 4 and 5%. We were able to change the mindset with respect to education in Tobago. A number of Tobagoans were not even thinking about tertiary level education. And in fact, there were certain professions that as a middle class, a lower middle class Tobagonian, you could not even consider. And what we were able to do is to revamp the financial assistance program to the point where between 2001 and 2017, we were able to send somewhere in the vicinity of 1,300 Tobagonians to university. And not only to university, but Tobagonians were able to get involved in fields like medicine, dentistry, and these areas that we as Tobagonians, felt were only within the ambit of the upper classes. Many of the iconic buildings that we see around Tobago were constructed by the PNM. The Victor E. Bruce building in Scarborough, the Scarborough Library, the Buku Integrated Facilities, the Shore Park Complex, which I think ranks with any other facility of that kind in the Caribbean. And one of the things that we decided is that we will not only deal with those big buildings, but we will try to ensure that the communities were well facilitated. And sometimes when you look back, you ask yourself, how could we have done so much in that space of time? Because we were able to either construct or refurbish extensively every community center, every health center, to the point where we would have had, subject to correction, something about maybe 17 health centers, well over 20 community centers. We will have introduced Y zones. We will have had lighted playing fields in almost every community. We will have had hard courts lighted in almost every community, well close to 20, to the point where one observer noted that Tobago has more of those facilities per head of population than any other island or country in the Western Hemisphere. And the PNM had a philosophy that we in Tobago must control our destiny. And as good Tobagonians, we recognize that he who owns the land owns its future. And therefore, we made a commitment that we will be able to pass on to generations of Tobagonians a Tobago land bank. And that is why we were able to either purchase or have acquired the Pigeon Point Heritage Park, the Cove Estate, the Adelphi Estate, some lands down at the racetrack, and about 2 or 3 other estates. And the purpose was that Tobago decision makers must never be in a position where when they want to develop Tobago, whether it is for housing, whether it's for agriculture, whether it is for environmental purposes, whatever, that they will never be in a position where they would have to treat with purchasing or being held to ransom by the private sector. And there are things we take for granted in Tobago, and we don't accept the kind of investment that would have been put into this. We have electricity in Tobago, and what we don't understand, or what a number of us don't recognize or accept, is that in order to get that plant down at Cove, $1 billion was spent on a pipeline from stranded gas out there to Tobago. About, I think, $300 million for the processing plant, and then another $600 million for the T&Tech facility. An investment of $2 billion in Tobago. The PNM central government was never shy about, as we say, spending big money in Tobago. Because when you think about the investments in those fast ferries, when you think about the investment in the police stations at Roxborough and the police station at Chauvin, when you think about the Scarborough Hospital, all of these were in fact done with the assistance of the central government. And that level of collaboration was extremely important. And then we also recognize that Tobago had to become self-sufficient eventually. And that is why it is the PNM government or the PNM administration in Tobago that was responsible for setting up the Studley Park Enterprise Limited in order to bring a business-like approach to the quarry operations. And that is what would have given us that kind of fillip to be able to at least have an opportunity to monetize that facility to the benefit of Tobagonians. But it wasn't all success. And one of the areas where we still experience challenges is in tourism. And we accept the reality. Tobago's tourism will remain in the doldrums except we're able to attract brand names. And that is why so much energy, so much time, so many resources were put into the Sandals initiative. Because we recognize that when we look at what happens throughout the Caribbean, if we're able to attract a Sandals, that Tobago's tourism will of course move into the modern era. We're still 20 years behind. And it is unfortunate that we have not been able to go ahead, move ahead with that particular initiative. And I'm still hoping that the leadership will be in a position to involve themselves in activities or initiatives like that. It is under the PNM administration that we set up the Venture Capital Limited, where to give Tobagonians the opportunity to really get into business with a certain amount of risk involved. And when one thinks about the millions, the tens of millions of dollars that we would have invested in assisted entrepreneurs and so on. But as I'm speaking here, I recognize that it's almost impossible to speak about 21 years of development in a few minutes. And what I have done, even at my advanced years, is to, as far as I can remember, jot down some of the major achievements. Because I think that it is time that we get rid of this mantra, false mantra. At PNM, we do nothing for Tobago. We did plenty. We transformed this island. And I think the present PNM has a responsibility to ensure that the history is corrected. And I am suggesting to them that they make the list of achievements of the PNM and the level of transformation that we brought into the Tobago space, that we make that information available to every Tobagonian. What they do with it is up to them, but we have a responsibility to correct the history. And I think that Tobago can, in fact, return to that space. Tobago can, in fact, return to that place where we put Tobago first again. Because when I look back, at the work of people like Mr. Neil Wilson, Mr. William Mackenzie, Mr. Hilton Sandy, these were people who were involved in politics and involved in governance for Tobago. And they were prepared to make the sacrifices. And I want us to get back to this point. From the PNM's perspective, I know that we've gone through a difficult 4 or 5 years. But I must say that we are in with a good chance. We have a leader in Ansel Dennis, whom I think has all the attributes, not only to take us into the assembly again, but to manage Tobago's affairs in a way that will benefit Tobagonians. And I am certain that if we in the PNM follow the principles extol the vision and highlight the achievements of the PNM and remain loyal to what PNM Tobago and the PNM Tobago Council has done, I think that we are in a good position to have a positive result. Tobago has gone through a challenging period, and we as Tobagonians have to understand that we have an important role to play if we are going to put Tobago back on the right path. And all of us have got to buy into the mantra that we must put Tobago first again. Except we put ourselves in a position where we can forget our personal grievances and unify around that mantra, we are not going to reach our true potential. So let us as Tobagonians put Tobago first again, and we would in fact become an island to be envied.